Hello, how are you doing today? If you're anything like me, this time of quarantine has been an emotional roller coaster, and I feel like I'm spinning my wheels and not really having much to show for it right now. Not only in my to-do list, but also in my emotional well-being. I'm feeling like I'm working really hard just to stay above water. And that doesn't feel good. So I really was having a heart-to-heart with myself yesterday, and I was thinking, what has this challenge made possible? And I don't say this as a silver lining kind of a deal. Not, what's the silver lining in the situation? I think it can be good to identify silver linings. But more than that, there's a huge difference between identifying the potential good in a situation and actually embracing it and diving into that area. So after we've identified the potential, making it apply to our lives can make a huge difference. So I'm going to tell you 5 things in my life that this challenge has made possible, and I would love to hear something that this challenge has made possible for you in the comments below. So first and foremost, this quarantine time has allowed for prioritization, making myself decide what is truly important and what can be let go. Just like in the winter and the autumn, there is decay, destruction, and we require that decay and destruction in order to have the blooms of the spring. So right now, there is a lot going on, and a lot we have to say no to at the moment by choice or by law. Telling myself no about things I've become accustomed to is not fun, but it's necessary for growth and rebirth. And so I really have embraced that as a good. Picking up the cross of less, what can feel like a burden, can actually really be a blessing, although it may feel bittersweet. It's a beautiful gift and an invitation to say yes to less. For example, because of the changes in our family, I've been saying no to air conditioning most of the time, and thankfully we've had a lot of beautiful days, but even on the hot days, the hot humid days, we've been saying no to air conditioning, and that feels burdensome. It feels like such a pain, but really it is allowed for us to open the windows more, go outside more, and just embrace the weather. Which brings me to the next one, which is what I'm calling grounding, because I don't know a better word for it, but just getting out in nature and reclaiming my connection to the ground around me. So I have chickens in the backyard, and we recently got little bunny rabbits. We have planted our garden again. When we got out here, we were looking at the soil, and it just looked so depleted. The ground around just looked so dead. And by composting that earth again, by bringing life to it and cultivating it in an intentional way, it feels like we're just reclaiming something that we have been neglecting that was right under our noses the whole time. There's a fruit tree that we haven't planted yet, but it was just sitting there dying. And now with food being more and more precious, which was always precious, but the perception has changed. With food being so precious, we don't want to waste a single thing. Like, we don't want to waste a single plant. And I'm just feeling that connectedness to the rhythms of the rainfall, the rhythms of the earth, and just being outside more. So I'm so thankful for that. Another beautiful blessing that this challenge has made possible has been sleep. I have allowed myself to listen to my body's natural rhythms of sleep because I haven't been feeling the best mentally. And when that happens, I really have to give myself the grace to sleep when I need to sleep. And because of the way things are structured right now, I have been given the privilege to do that. I've also been allowing my children to tune into their natural rhythms as well, and it's just creating a really nice rhythm to our days. Number 4 is connection, which is ironic because right now we are social distancing. Does that taste good, dear? But it's made every interaction mean more. I'm part of this farm co-op, and so we pick up our local vegetables and fruit and all that stuff from a little co-op. But since all the shelter-in-place things have happened and the social distancing, we have very strict rules about how to pick up our food. It's a drive-through situation. There's very minimal contact. So the only interaction I really have is where I pull up to the drive-through and tell her my name. That way she can pull up my order. Then they get it ready and they put it on the sidewalk, and then I'll get out of my car after they're gone and get it from the sidewalk. But that little interaction, that brief moment, it now means more. Before, we were all going into the co-op, hustling, bustling, we're all too busy, you know. And yes, we would interact, but there's something about it now, you know, masks on, eye-to-eye connection. It's different now. We don't take it for granted. When I saw a family member briefly because they dropped something off on my porch, that connection meant more. It's like you want to hug them, you want to like, but it's like that brief connection, that quick interaction, I feel like has had more depth and meaning than some of our other interactions maybe added up in the whole last year. And finally, these virtual things, while virtual connections are not the same as human-to-human connections, I've been given the opportunity to connect with some of the people online in a deeper way, such as those conferencing calls where they actually get to see me too, and that's been pretty neat. Side note, should we do a conference call for Whole Catholic Living? That would be kind of cool. Just a thought. Being without the noise, without the pollution in the air, has allowed me to miss people. It's allowed me to look into my heart to who I'm missing, reach out to old friends, and make plans to actually connect with one another virtually, but nevertheless. And finally, the last thing that this challenge has made possible for me is moderation. I keep seeing memes about people eating out of their fridges all day long. That is not happening over here. But our situation looks different. Everybody's situation looks different because I feel like we have less access to food right now and less resources to purchase food. It's actually made me quite frugal and mindful of what I'm consuming into my body, what I'm eating, what I'm feeding my children, because every meal means more right now. And so I've actually become a lot more moderate with my eating, where I'm not just eating mindlessly, because I know that if I do that, I'm wasting food that we would potentially need later. And it's not that food is scarce, it's just that going out and obtaining it looks different now. You know, if I take up a slot for a pickup that maybe an elderly person could have had because I was just overeating, like that doesn't make sense to me. And so I want to be very intentional about when I shop and how often I'm shopping, because of course every shopping trip is a potential for spreading, right? So I'd like to be in as much as I can. I want to do my part there. So it's given me moderation in that. But also moderation in what I'm consuming in my mind. Media, it's some of it's very dark right now, and so I've had to really step back. And because of that, it's really allowed me to moderate what I'm putting in my brain. So back at the beginning, I said, it feels like we're doing a lot of work and we're spinning our wheels and it's just kind of tough. But remember the words of the prophet Isaiah. I was reminded of them recently by a sweet friend. Though I thought I had toiled in vain and for nothing, uselessly spent my strength, yet my reward is with the Lord. My recompense is with God. So remember, as we're working, this is good work. You are doing good work, mamas. And also remember this beautiful verse from Philippians. I know how to be abased, and I know how to abound. In any and all circumstances, I have learned the secret of facing plenty and hunger, abundance and want. I can do all things in Him who strengthens me. God is our strength for this good work. You've got this, Mama. May God bless you. I'm praying for your health and well-being, especially in this time. If you're brand new, please do consider subscribing. And let me know if you kind of like these little chats, and we will do more videos like this. All right, take care.